Hi there, everybody. My name is Laura, and welcome to the Equestrian Skill Builders Rider Position Show, where we discuss riding position topics and share ideas and exercises to help you and your riders. If you'd like to improve your riding and training, win more ribbons at your next horse show, who doesn't like to do that, or generally like other horsey-related stuff, then stay tuned because the exercises we'll share today might very well change your riding forever, in a good way. Co-host with me today is Randy Thompson. Hi, Randy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Laura. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So where are you coming in from today?
I'm actually on top of a mountain in Zirconia, North Carolina.
Are you getting any effects from the Hurricane Laura?
Just last night we had a lot of rain. So what happens is the hurricanes don't reach us, but the bands of bad weather like the rain, the torrential downpours do. So we probably had 5 inches of rain last night.
Holy smokies.
Well, it was much worse for the people living down south, and I hope everybody's doing okay because it ended up landing at a Category 3, which you don't want to be in.
No, for sure. Yeah. Well, if it's your first time here, thank you for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. You're going to get lots of good information. Stay tuned for some of the exercises that we're going to share because I know you're going to like it. And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us here today. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, great. Thank you. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And if you're on the Facebook page, excellent. Thank you so much. Just remember to give us a thumbs up and like the page. So, Randy, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Give yourself an introduction.
Well, like many people who have been in the horse industry all their life, I started when I was young, dreaming I was a horse. And so when I started out, that's what I'd have a dream. I would step into this magical lasso and I would become a horse in a herd of horses. It was an ongoing series. I don't know how to explain it, but I know what it feels like to wag my tail like a horse. But from there, we didn't have any trainers or instructors in the area that I was in that I knew of because we didn't know they existed. So it was really the horses who taught me how to ride. I rode bareback with just a bridle for many years. And then people started asking me if I would help them with their horses. So by the time I was 20, I'd become a professional. Still, I had so much to learn. I've come a long ways, but in the process, I have come, like I said, I've been very lucky. I've worked very hard and I've been exposed to many things, including as my career expanded, I created national champions in, first of all, Western Pleasure, Arabian Western Pleasure. Then it was junior jumpers in Wellington, Florida. I had a junior jumper that was top 10 in the circuit. Actually, she was number 3 in a winter equestrian festival for the junior jumpers. Then after that, I created another. Who would have thought I ended up in the flat shod walking horses? So
wow.
And a national amateur champion there in saddle seat and Western Pleasure. They do both of them. And from then I ended up in the world of dressage where I created another national champion. Who would have thought, right? Because I never imagined this would ever happen in my life. But the other thing that's made a difference as I've continued on my amazing career is that way back in Wellington, I got involved with a group that was certifying and teaching riding instructors. At first I had no idea what I was getting involved in, but they asked me to join with them. So I went to a clinic and became a clinician. And I realized how much I didn't know. Here I had already created national champions, but I didn't, I'd never had to teach professionals before. So what I had to learn to be able to teach the techniques to the instructors was techniques that could actually work, which took me so deep into the world of biomechanics and understanding how horses and riders connect. And now I'm known for the Horse and Rider Awareness Programs. It's a program that I've developed since 1979. I have jumping instructors, dressage instructors, a multitude of things. And today I'm so excited because I've come here to join with Laura, and we're going to share you techniques that you can use at home. You don't need a trainer for some of the things.
That's the whole idea of it, is
you can do it yourself.
Yep, exactly. So, and me, I'm Laura Kelland-May. I'm an Equestrian Canada senior judge, hunter, jumper, equitation, and hack, and senior steward and competition coach, specialist, high performance trained. Now, if you have a comment or question, please, please, please put it in the comments there. We'd love to have and answer your questions for you. And if you have a picture that or of your position that you would like to have some tips on or have us comment on, oh, Randy's got her magnifying glass out there. Please send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. And I'm just going to put that in the banners so that you guys can see what it is that we do. I'm just going to make it here like this. No, that's not the right one. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So I've been getting a few images, some pictures that people have sent in, and we're going to share that now. Are you ready to go, Randy, with our first person here?
All right.
So this is, let me just see, who is it? It's Nikki. Yep, this is Nikki here. So this is Nikki. Thank you so much, Nikki, for sending in your photo. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to make it bigger here. If you are going to send a picture in, I really appreciate that. But you can tell from this picture, it gets the whole horse in, but we can't really see a whole lot from this angle. So I'm going to show you the side angle. This is how the picture we don't really want to see come in. What we'd like to see is something from the side. So this is the same horse and rider from the side, and you can see that it's a much better picture for us to get a handle on what it is that this person is doing. Do you agree, Randy? This is better, eh? From the side?
So much easier to see. And it's hard with jumping pictures because we've got the standards that often get in the way and that type of thing. But from this angle, we can actually see how the rider is balancing in the saddle, where they're putting their weight.
Now, before we get into the position, just if you look at the picture here, you may see us looking up and we may see us looking down. And so you may see our heads bobbing around. It's just because we're looking at the monitor where the picture is, right? So just bear with us while we take a look. Randy's the first time she's seen these pictures, so I'm getting her off guard here. And I'm not sure, Randy, can you tell with your magnifying glass, is that stirrup twisted the wrong way on her foot?
Oh, can I see it? It's twisted to the outside.
Yeah, so it's not twisted properly. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Right.
So I mean that for me,
that's a little thing.
That's a little thing, but you know what? If you were in an equitation class and I saw that as a judge, I would certainly mark it down, and it could be a reason why you get marked down in an equitation class, something that simple like that. So
especially for a rider of this level, this is a lovely rider.
Yeah.
You know, and to miss something like that, that's kind of basic, but you know, we've all done it, but it's something for her to become aware of, because we would, for a rider at this level, we would expect more.
She's got those lovely stirrup leathers too that are really, really wide.
Yes.
And I just want to know if am I seeing things, or is that correct? Like, does she have a special?
It almost looks like the bottom stirrup leather that should be tucked behind her leg. Oh no, there it is. There's one behind her leg too. So there's one tucked in behind the back. If the shadow makes it look hard to see. But,
right.
You know, in the meantime, she's a lovely rider. She's got her, I can tell she rides a little bit with her heels, because she's got her heel against the horse, like she's nudging the horse forward. And that's where, if she used her calf instead, she would find she would get a more effective response from her horse. But that takes time, and she's got the basics.
Yeah, so let's start right up at the top here, like her eyes. I mean, it looks like her eyes are up, even though her head is cut off. Sorry, Nikki, your head is cut off. That her eyes look like they're up because her whole body looks in balance.
Mm-hmm. I'd like her a little bit more up on her chest, just a little bit more up, to sit up just a little bit.
You mean in here?
Yes.
Yep.
I'd like just a little, because that's not really a big jump. I mean, it's a good size jump, but it doesn't appear to be, you know, that big where you could lose your position. With a rider of this level, I would like her to maintain her position a little bit longer. She seems to be folding forward maybe a second sooner than she should.
Right.
And that's
So you'd like to see your shoulders back here,
yes.
something.
Yeah, she needs to sit back at this point of the jump because she's taken
Right.
off. So the horse is throwing her off. But that throwing off movement has tucked her chest down.
Yeah. So we'd like to have a little bit more room here. Because this thing here, this is what you notice for me.
Yes.
Is this elbow angle?
Yeah.
I mean, she's not interfering. The horse looks great.
Oh,
The horse is kind of stretching, but she's got a good piece of hardware in this horse's mouth. We'd like to see the range a little bit. We'd like to see her hands here with her arms more like this in the back.
Yes.
For me, anyway. And I think it was you that mentioned to us, Randy, that when you can see the elbows going below the hands, that's kind of something you have to keep in mind when your elbows go below your hands. So here her elbows are below her hands.
Yes. And that's an easy fix. All you need to do is have your mother or whoever's watching you, take a photo of you so you can see. If that's happening, you're just jumping ahead a little bit on your jumping position. And everybody goes through this stage. So you're not doing anything we haven't done ourselves.
Yep. And like I said, she's not interfering. The horse looks happy enough. And I'd like to see maybe her hands down here.
I think what's happened from this photo is, like you said, it appears that the horse, because of the way she's holding the rein, I would say he has a tendency to run in front of her aids a little bit. So for this rider, I would take her back to the basics where she can start learning how to ride more from her seat and legs. Like, for example, for this rider, I would put a neck strap on her so she can find where her space is, where she should be, and then be able to learn from that point.
Yep. So let's just go back to the other picture. Let's see if we could get any clues from this other one. So it looks like the same sort of thing, right? She's a little bit ahead. Her lower leg swung back.
And it's a lovely, lovely horse, lovely rider. We're just being really, because that's what Laura does. She'll help you go to the next level by fine tuning, pointing out exactly what you can do, whatever level that you're at, from a beginner to an advanced level. She can give you points that'll help you solidify your riding position and make you a more effective rider.
Yeah, so it's the same sort of thing. Okay, let's get back here.
Yeah, so for this rider, I would be teaching her how to ride more from her seat and legs.
Yeah. So back is nice and flat. I like the way her hip is over top of the saddle.
Lovely rider.
Yeah, lovely, beautiful leg position. Got to get her stirrup on the correct way of the.
Nice horse too.
Yeah, he's very cute. I keep on thinking this is something here, but I think that's the fence. This right here. I think that's the fence. I keep on thinking that's maybe standing martingale, but I think it's the fence.
I don't know. I'm looking too. That strap looks like it might go right. Well, it's hard to tell. It might be the fence. You're right. It is the fence.
Yeah. Right here. But I think that's just the fence.
Yeah.
Oh, well, while we're here, I want to ask you, what's your feeling about this noseband?
That looks like one of those. There's a new style that's out right now. So it's a big thing in the dressage ring. I don't know. They're allowed in the jumper rings too. Yes, they are. Hunter ring. Can they use those in the hunter ring, Laura? You're a judge.
No. Definitely not, because it goes below. That's a drop type
so
thing.
This is a European. This style came from Europe. It's now kind of a trendy thing. Some people are switching to this because they feel that noseband fits a horse's head better. So you may not see that as much I don't know, I haven't been to a big show recently, hunter jumpers, if people are competing in that, but I've noticed that in the dressage world, that little by little more people started using them. Yeah. So that I don't remember what the name of it is, but so people are switching.
Well, I think this is a figure 8 noseband, isn't it? The grackle noseband. So, we have a question here, Randy. Anne Marie says, shouldn't equitation be mandatory for jumpers? I see many pics with the rider's legs so far back.
It's not a requirement for the class, unless you're doing the equitation, right, Laura?
Right. So equitation. So her question: shouldn't equitation be mandatory for jumpers? No, I think. Well, I think it would be. It would be nice if there was a component of equitation for the jumpers, but I think there is a equitation class that people do the jumper equitation, jumper medal classes where the equitation is judged. But I think the jumpers is just simply get to the other side of the jump, leave the jump up.
Or it can even go through a jumper course lame and still win.
Well, we wouldn't like that to happen.
Yeah, not lame, but I mean, if they've got short on one step, like if they're club-footed or something.
They're a little bit.
Yeah.
I suppose. Oh, if they're club-footed, yeah. That makes sense.
Something like that where they're shorter stride on one side. You couldn't get away with that in equitation. You know, those horses can come in stiffer, but in the jumper ring, you can come in with a horse that's a little bit unlevel, I guess you call it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what you would call it for sure. Yep. So what kind of exercises would you do with this rider to help her? First of all, what would you like to see done to improve this rider?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh,
all right. I'm asking everybody. So if you have a comment, if you're watching, have a comment of what would you like to see improved on this rider? Great. Let us know in the comments. And thank you very much, Anne-Marie, for your question, by the way. And what would you have this rider? If this rider presented themselves to you, what would you work on with this rider?
For me, I would put her with a rider of this level. I would, like I said before, I would put her in a neck strap. And we've got some pictures of neck straps so you can see how they work. And with a rider of this level, I would give her, neck straps just fit around the horse's neck. And then you adjust them so that your hands, they fit to where your hands should be. So with this rider, I would put her in the neck strap because what it would do is teach her how to keep in her core. Because when she's, and ever so slightly, you see her folding, with a neck strap, she would learn how to keep her body back. Here we have a rider just standing with a neck strap, and it's a dressage saddle, but it's the same basic position. So you can see hers might be a cord. I like to use the cords or the twines. They're inexpensive, you know, and plus what happens is when you use a neck strap, all you have to do is, like the reins, keep an even, you put them in your reins like a double bridle almost. You can start without reins. As the video with this one, we'll have to share the links. We've got the riders are actually riding their horses without contact, and they're riding on the neck strap. So when you pick up the neck strap with the reins, you pick them up, and the feel should be an even feel on both sides of the rein. What you will notice with the neck strap, again, it's tied, you'll see, right up where her hand should be. So when she picks it up, it's about 4 inches above the withers for her. So when she picks it up.
Right here.
Yes, right there. So when it'll actually be higher, like put it up a little higher where her hand should be. That's right. So you just tie the knot right there. And the reason I like the thinner straps is when the rider starts unconsciously, because most riders unconsciously lean on the reins. As soon as they start leaning on the reins, even with gloves, they're going to feel the twine string or that cord starting to bite their fingers.
Oh, that's why I was wondering why you wanted the strength. So that's a good idea, but I would caution.
That's their sign that they're leaning too much on the reins.
Yeah. So you have to remember too, that if it's twine, that it's going to catch the horse here, right?
Yeah, but most people don't hold it that tight. So it's very seldom that you'll see the twine make, like a dent in the horse's neck.
Yeah.
Like you watch this rider as she continues with the progress. So we took pictures from videos I've done with riders. As she continues with her progress, the rein gets light to where you can see it actually draping just a little bit, because what she's learned to do, by riding with the neck strap, she learned how to use her seat and legs to ride the horse instead of trying to control it more with the reins, which was the example we saw with that beautiful spotted horse and rider.
Okay, so how would that help this person over the jumps? So you would ask this rider here, let me just show you this one again, to put a neck strap on.
Yes.
Let me get my neck strap.
And the first thing the neck strap will do is it'll cause her hands to come down lower, because it's hard to hold the neck strap up there.
So put a neck strap like this. And the neck strap could also be a stirrup leather, right?
Yes, but again, the stirrup leather, not again, but stirrup leathers are usually too thick.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Right when
which would
people
make
will
her
buy, you can buy,
hands come here,
yes, and keep her upper body back because with the
and
neck,
then her upper body will go back here somewhere.
because the neck strap teaches you how to stay in your core. So if she lifted her hands up just a little bit and got with the feeling of the movement by holding the neck strap, it would cause her to come deeper into her lower legs. So her knees come down and back just like they're doing here, but it would
Yep.
change her upper body balance.
So there's a neck strap. Yeah, exactly. So and we would like to have her hands. Let's just do yellow here so you can see
Yes.
it. Her hands here.
And that's a problem that riders of every style of riding have, is how to keep, it really comes down to all of a sudden that, like, she'll land after this jump and she'll feel the horse tug at her reins because her reins have gotten too short. So the neck strap also teaches people where to keep their hands. It's from that position at the neck strap that you adjust, lengthen or shorten the length of the reins.
Yeah.
Instead of it coming back to your hip, or instead of going too far up the neck. And again, most riders unconsciously lean on the reins. That just is what it is. But what this does, like, for example, with this rider, I would start her at the walk to let her feel it, because she's going to find out. Those of you who try this at home, it's going to teach you so much about your riding position. For example, if your hands keep sliding back, if you feel the neck strap getting tight, it's because your seat has gone too far back in the saddle. So you just tug on the neck strap just enough to bring your seat forward and your seat bones down. And you'll find when you first start doing it, you might be readjusting your seat every 4 steps is how fast your seat will slide from underneath of you, which results with most people with their reins getting longer. So what I like about the neck strap is it teaches them, as soon as they feel it bite on their hands a little bit, the first thing they do is adjust their seats.
Okay, so let's say this rider, okay, she doesn't have a neck strap, but she has a martingale strap. Can she use a martingale strap?
If it allows her to put her hands in the place that it's supposed to be.
Right.
So 3 inches above the withers and in front, right?
Right. So we take this rider back because, and again, we've got one photograph, and that's just what we're seeing in front of us. She may be perfect all the other times, but on this particular photograph, we'd like for her to work on this, right? It's just this one photograph. Perfect balance. She's lovely in balance. Her lower leg is great. So give her a neck strap and work over some trot rails. Put those trot rails out at 4.5 feet, straight line, get in your 2-point, keep your 2-point balanced. And this will also help.
Because with the neck strap, it's going to change everything. You can feel with the neck strap, if, like you were saying, Laura, she's got to feel the flexibility in her legs, and she might have that, but as long as her body's in front of the motion that much, she's at some level is disconnecting from her lower leg, and it doesn't look like it in the photo.
Right. So if she's in her 2-point with the neck strap, that will help her balance over top of her leg without getting her caught. And like what you said, gets her to use her core to keep herself balanced over top of the horse, rather than leaning on the neck, balancing on the horse's mouth, and those types of things that we really don't want to see. It helps the riders to use their core while they're riding in their sitting trot, their rising trot, canter, 2-point, and even over top of the jump when she's releasing over top of the jump. So that's really good use of a neck strap for sure. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to use that.
Oh, they're profound, especially for like the rising and the posting trot, because that's where most riders have the most challenging time. It's getting that balance from leaving your seat to going up and then coming down without falling down. Riders of all level are out of rhythm with their horses, and it's because they're not quite sure what the timing is. So with the neck strap, you can practice the rising trot, and as you're posting, sorry, we're doing hunter jumper more here, posting trot, as you're bouncing, as you go, you have to ask yourself, most riders are bouncing out of their saddle instead of going deeper into your lower legs. So when you're holding the neck strap, what it'll do is it'll teach you, if you feel like you're bouncing in the saddle, you are. And that's when you open your thighs a little bit, open your knees, allow your legs to, your knees to go down and back, and your leg to stretch down and down also. So you use a neck strap to actually anchor yourself into your lower leg to get the feel of it in the rising trot. And then you start doing your rising and sitting, and you're going to feel, you will feel this. Everybody does. I did tell you, I taught a lot of pros. I have been teaching pros. So what will happen is you're going to discover, and it'll be a shock, where you're disconnecting from your lower leg in the sitting trot. You'll find as a result, you'll go deeper into the top inner part of your thigh. And that's the thigh, like 4 inches from, like 8 inches above your knees, where that part of the thigh is. That's your riding muscle, is right up in there. So the neck strap will teach you how to go deeper into your riding muscles and your lower leg instead of popping up and down.
Yeah, that's a big one. Big one. Helps you get the weight down, right down into your heel, which is where you need to be when you're riding on the flat or going over fences.
Exactly. And with this exercise, they can do it at home. Of course, we always want to choose the horse that's safe and dependable. Don't try this on your 2-year-old that's only been under training for 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. That's safe.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Now, another thing that I found that the neck strap has helped for developing riders, and it sounds so simple, just add a neck strap, but it's profound. I've used it for riders of all level, is that a lot of riders, especially in the lower levels, have a tendency where their foot is always sliding out of the stirrup.
Right.
Especially at the canter, right? And it's usually one side more than the other. So with the neck strap, if they can practice the canter, and you practice the canter with with all of these, I would recommend having somebody lunge you first. But if you don't have somebody that can lunge you, you can do it on your own. But you can do this with the canter, and what you'll start feeling as you develop the use of the neck strap more is that it'll keep you in your legs so your stirrups don't slide out, which is really important, right, Laura?
Well, yeah. So the reason that your feet do slide out of the stirrups is because the weight isn't coming down into your stirrups, that you're pinching with your knee, or the weight isn't coming down into your stirrups properly. And to do that, you need to use your core, which is why we use the neck strap to help. And a lot of people think that neck straps are just for beginner riders. Well, it's not. You can use it, and these are exercises you can do on your own if you have a practice ride or if you're riding out on your own.
That's right.
On a safe horse.
And the other thing that I'd like to add that I like about the neck strap is, riders get to a point in their riding where they're not just riding by the book. Like we don't have to keep telling them heels down and everything. We actually get them to the point where they're training the horse. So the other thing the neck strap does, and I'm talking about the rider that we saw jumping earlier with that lovely spotted horse, is it teaches a rider how to keep their horse in front of their legs and seat, because they're riding more with the neck strap. And what it does is it gets them to focus on how they're actually connecting with their horse under their seat and legs, and how they're getting them to move and to carry them on their backs.
This rider.
Yes.
It helps riders to keep the horse in front of their leg.
In front of their aids, right.
In front of their aids, yeah, because they're riding from back to front as opposed to riding with their hands and getting the horse to round or get in the frame with their hands. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
And this horse might be a little bit ahead of the aids. So with her, what she wants to do is, by bringing her seat down, bringing her seat back and sitting up a little bit, it'll start teaching her horse. And if you're watching this, what it'll do is it'll teach your horse to start following your seat and legs instead of it waiting for you to tell it what to do with your reins. And that's the shift this rider is ready for right now.
I agree with you. Yeah. She needs to start riding more holistically with her whole body rather than steering to the next jump. Yep. Totally agree with you on that. So I did have a picture here, Randy. Just let me get it again. I think this is one of your riders on the lunge line with the neck strap. And this is kind of like a before picture, I guess.
Yes. So this is a rider.
Yep. This rider, it looks like she's trying to push the horse forward, but it's not coming from the hindquarters and not coming up into the contact. And then we'll have a after picture to look at as well. So just introduce us to what's going on here, Randy. You could see the neck strap here for sure.
So this lady, she was using white cords. I have a cat coming to visit me here. And that's a cord that you see around this mare's neck. And you'll see the position it's adjusted to. 3 inches above and in front of her withers. So you'll notice that she's at a point now with her neck strap that it's kind of hanging loose because she's developed a more independent rein now. So she's actually, in this video, we were focusing on getting a horse in front of the aids is how we started it. And that all relates to how you're using your position. So like Laura said, at this point in the video, you can see that her weight is not going down through the back of her leg. So she's using the neck strap once you...
That's right here.
That's
we
right.
want that to be down.
So to isolate her, I started at the walk on this one, maybe the trot, but all she had to do is feeling the neck strap, and she's got that even feel on both reins. You'll notice there's no tightness. It's an even feel on both reins is what connection or contact is. So at this exact point, you can see she's not stepping all the way down into her heels. So she would pick that neck strap up and make sure, because you can see her seat's basically in the right place, but her knee does not come down, so her leg can stretch down and forward.
Yeah.
And we'd
like to have this down.
Yes.
And this down.
Yes.
This is okay.
Yep. And as we continued with it, by the time we finished with this session, it might have been 15 minutes, I don't remember. She had the correct position and her horse in front of her legs. And the way you feel it on a horse, because all of you are riding in balance, it doesn't, maybe not so much for beginners, because reality is you point and shoot. That's just what it is. But you get to a point where you ride more with your seat and legs.
Okay, so then we have this one.
Oh, this is her again. This is her at the trot. Let me get my magnifying glass up. All right.
I just thought that it showed that the horse was now stretching more into the contact.
Yes. And her leg's not in the correct place right there, but you can see she has an even, you can clearly see she has an even light contact on both sides of the reins, which is perfect for the hunter ring. For example, you don't see her trying to hold the horse's head in place. She's actually asking the horse to come up from behind and step into her reins. What she's feeling, so for those of you who want to feel when your horse goes into balance or self-carriage, and you can do this with a neck strap too, is to get the feeling, is when the horse starts going into balance, self-carriage, when they step under themselves more, they lift their back, you will actually feel the front of the saddle will start lifting, and you'll feel your thighs do this just a little bit. And you can feel that, especially if you try this on a horse. Here's a way to feel that, because that feeling is the secret to your success for balancing a horse. If you get on your horse and if your horse backs, gently back it a couple steps, and you're going to feel the whole front end come up. Because when they back up, right, Laura? They pick up their front end?
Yeah.
That's the feeling you should have when your horse is in self-carriage and balance. So you can back your horse up a couple steps and then walk it forward, and you'll feel how fast does it drop out of that position. Most horses within 3 steps. So that's the balancing point, because at that point where the horse falls down is where you use your legs to ask the horse to step up from underneath and pick you up under your seat again, because they've just dropped you under their back. Does that make sense, Laura?
Oh, I'm following along with you.
All right, so this is going to happen.
I just noticed that somebody put a sad face on there, and I was just wondering if they were here or not here, or why they put a sad face. Sue Kaufman put a sad face. Sorry, Sue, if you don't like what's happening here.
Yeah. She may have hit the wrong button too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But I've tried to put this picture inside the picture so you could see the before down here, right? Where the horse is. This is the same horse in the same training session.
Yes.
That looks like she's...
Look at the difference in the balance. So you can see when a horse drops its balance in the front, the little picture on the left, that's when the horse is like where most horses are. It's heavy on the forehand. It's not lifting its back. So by the time we got to the second picture, the larger picture, even though her position isn't perfect, you can see that the horse is lifting her on its back and what they call coming through. Yeah. Coming through on the aids. It's accepted the aids, and she's riding it from her seat and legs. You
like
can
this way. Yeah.
Yep. You can clearly see it's not from the rein.
The reins are soft. There's a contact, but it's not from pulling back and riding backwards from the.
Which is what they like to see in the hunter ring. This is a dressage horse, but this would work in a hunter ring, right?
Oh, definitely. And this is the frame that you would like to see in the hunter ring. Okay, Sue Kaufman says, no mistake. Sorry, I love this. Thank you so much, Sue. That's what we like to hear. Thank you, Sue, very much. Appreciate it.
If you're listening to this, do you understand what I'm talking about here?
Yes, yes, everybody. If you can, put it in the comments that you like what we're saying or you understand. If you don't understand, please put it in the comments. Now, Randy, something just happened to your sound.
Oh, I just lost my sound?
Yep. I can just barely hear you. You were perfect before, but now I've lost you.
Did you do something? Bad cat. Can you hear me at all?
Oh, I can hear you, but it's not like it was before. If you can hear Randy, put it in the comments that you can hear Randy or you can't hear Randy. So only because all of a sudden she was great. Oh, Sue says super helpful. Thank you, Sue. And if you can hear Randy or can't hear Randy, let us know in the comments because I can hear you, but it's just a little whisper. I don't know. Maybe it's my headphones just gave up. I don't know.
I don't know. Mine just did. Mine did before we started. I had headsets.
Did you bump your microphone?
No, have not touched anything.
All right, so maybe it's just me.
I don't know. But I have a question for everybody.
Oh, there, you just moved closer to your mic.
Oh, bad cat. I'll blame it on my cat. This is the troublemaker. Oh, there you go.
Meow.
There we go. So I have a question for everybody, and that is, and you can, again, you can put your responses on now or you can put them on later. Have you ever tried a neck strap? And now that you've seen how it can make a difference, are you ready to explore how it can work for you? So please put those in the comments below. And again, even if you're not watching the show live, let us know later because we're curious to hear if you're ready to take this next step into your future success.
So here's a picture that I found online. This is, if you are familiar with the eventing world, neck straps are not just for beginners, says William Fox Pitt. Neck straps are not just for beginners. There we go.
So that's an international competitor. He's using it to actually compete in. So, you know, the thing is for people to realize it's not just for the lower level riders. I use it on myself because my position, you know, all of a sudden I realize, oh, my reins keep getting longer or shorter. And I'm like, dang, it's because my seat's not in the right place. So I'll get the neck strap and I'll get myself back in the right place. And then I'll get lighter, you know, lighter, and then I'll be back again. But I have to keep doing it. I would say like at least once a month.
Yeah. So do you do a lot of riding?
No, I'm not doing as much riding as I did at one time. I'll probably never ride at the level I was. I was actively riding easily 10 horses a day for many, many years of my life. And now I'm not as active. I've gotten older. I've had a bad injury. So now I'm doing less active riding, and I'm okay with that. I found I enjoy teaching the professionals, and I focus more on that and what I can do with that.
Perfect. So now I'm getting a lot of I'm getting this talk through. I can hear myself through my headphones, and I don't know how to fix it.
Huh. Well, we never know with the internet.
We never know.
So, Laura, you haven't tried a neck strap yet, right? Have you tried one yet?
Well, yes, because I bought a whole bunch of cotton clothesline for when we are at. Oh, gee, I can't do this. I know, I'll go like this.
That might have been the problem. Mine didn't work earlier.
When we were at the Horse World Expo, we did a lot of work with the neck straps, and I remember using it a lot, and I bought all my students a length of rope to put around their neck. They can all ride with neck straps, and the music metronome. So
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. So that we did the horse.
Okay, so Anne Marie says, sorry to interrupt you, Randy. Anne Marie says, sounds like it's hard to hear. I don't hear more clearly. So what's happening?
Yeah, Laura, it is your sound.
So she says it only hears clearly. So I don't know. We're going to keep going anyway. If you can hear me, great. If you can't hear me, great. Let's
Yes.
keep
So we're
going.
gonna
We've
have
got.
to. You're just have a little bit of an echo there. Something happened there, Laura.
That's right. I'm
Hello.
talking, and I got like 2 seconds later, I get it back into play, and I don't know how to fix that. If anybody knows how to fix that, they can tell me. If
So
the
yeah,
neck strap fixes hand carriage position and upper body carriage, how would you fix the leg and heel position working without stirrups?
well,
That's a
first you
great
get to
question,
establish
Anne-Marie.
what
Thank
it
you
is.
so much, Anne-Marie.
What would you say, Laura?
Oh, okay, it's going to make me talk. Okay, so what the question is, neck strap fixes hand carriage position, upper body carriage. It does more than that. I think that if the neck strap gets your body, what we're talking about, it does more than just fix the position of your hand. It forces the rider to ride their core and their body and their seat. And once you engage your core and your seat, your leg will help get your legs and heels down in the correct position. So for me, this is part of it, is riding, keeping your body in the correct position. So you ride properly with the center part of your body, and fixing your heel and leg position, working without stirrups does do that. Working without stirrups does help with that, but also it's kind of like a domino effect. Fix your hands and your upper body, and you ride properly with your core and your seat, then your legs are going to be in the correct position. And if your legs are in the correct position, all of that going to work together. What do you say about that, Rand?
I agree with you. What I like best about the neck strap or any of the exercises that we use is it teaches riders. I hope everybody can hear me. I'll get closer. It teaches riders to be flexible in their riding position. If you don't feel every step that your ankles and your knees and your hips are springy like this here, they should be going more like this instead of tight. That's the difference. There should be no tension or tightness in your riding position. You basically balance your riding position. It's the inside of your upper thigh muscles that keep your seat where you want it to be, but without having your knee down and your legs, sinking down and back. You're not anchored. You're not solid into both of your legs. So if you're going to do riding, here's the thing: riding without two stirrups is easy. Riding with a neck strap will teach you how to keep your riding position where it should be. Now, if you really want to challenge yourself, and this is not for beginners, do not do this with beginners. Do not do this on a horse that's not safe. You have to promise me you won't do this because this could be a very dangerous exercise. All you have to do is most riders are weaker on their left side. So to strengthen your left side and keep the saddle in the center, because that's when their saddle starts slipping to the outside, you just drop your right stirrup, which will make you use your left leg. And your leg is going to whine a lot. I've had professionals cry dropping one stirrup. They can ride all day long with two stirrups, but take away their strong leg, usually their right leg, and make them ride on their left side. And then, well, if they're having a challenging time with it, can you imagine what you might feel?
Excellent. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Now, I would like to, we've got maybe 15 minutes left, and if people can't hear me, or Randy, could you please tell us so uh, we could wind it up? I do have a couple of exercises that I want, pardon me, wanted to go over, because I know when I'm riding, I like to have exercises. Okay, Anne-Marie said, great tip, my exact problem. Perfect, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much. And I'm guessing that you could hear Randy because you commented on it. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Really, really appreciate it. And
Can you use just your
so Anne-Marie, I worked with Anne-Marie this past week at the horse show. She's a fellow steward. So I do have exercises. I know when I'm riding, I ride by myself, and I like to set up an exercise and then have that exercise set up for a few for one time, so I don't have to. Can I use your PC? No, I can't use my PC mic.
Okay, that is your PC mic. Okay.
It's. I think my microphone is working. It's just the dang headphone that I don't. That
Always something
I'm hearing
happening.
myself. I'm hearing myself on like on the replay or something. Like there's 2 second delay.
Huh. And you can't hear it without the headset?
So let's see what happens. I don't know. There's probably somewhere that I can fix that, but I just don't know how to do that.
That's all right.
All right. So here is the.
That's better. When you speak really close to the microphone, that helps.
When I'm speaking like this,
Yes.
it helps what? With no echo?
Yeah, the sound is better
Okay.
today.
Okay, so here's an easy setup that you can do, and there's so many different exercises you can use this for. Set it up once, and you can do several different exercises when you're riding. How would you use this one, Randy?
Well, I love this exercise. I like anything with 4 corners because it teaches a rider how to be able to control the horse's shoulders and their haunches at the same time. So with this exercise, because we were kind of talking about neck straps, I would have a rider go through any of their jumping or groundwork or gymnastics, working with a neck strap so they can find where they can keep themselves. So, in balance. So with this exercise, the nice thing I like about it is, for example, we could come on the one on the right and do a full circle to the right and come back over, and then the bottom one do a full circle to the left. That's just one. Yeah. And then you can go to the next one and do a circle to the other direction. So each time you're changing directions, which will make you more of a thinking rider instead of just pointing and steering, because it looks like it's easy to do. It's not so easy because you have to go both directions. You'll find going to the left.
Here's
You
the
got it right
exercise
there. Yep. If you
Goes
go
to the right
yep, and to the left.
and goes to the left.
So just figure eight
See,
going
this
around
is
and around.
probably exactly how I would ride my circle.
Yep.
Like, that's about how much bend I would have.
Well, that's the way a lot of people are. So what you can do is when you create this it's like you can use 4 cross poles or ground poles, or you could, that's the best size because it gives more length, is that your hardest turn is going to be to the left. It is with most riders. So when you're turning to the left on a circle going through the pole exercise, one technique that will be very helpful for you is to make sure that your horses, if you look at the withers and the shoulders, they should always be pointed to the next quarter spot on the circle. For example, if we started in one point of the circle, like the square, we would just look at the next quarter point with the horse's shoulders.
Okay, so you're here,
Yes,
and you're here.
yes.
You should be pointing your shoulders,
The
horse's shoulders here.
to the, okay, we're going to the left there. So here we would point the horse's shoulders to the next point. Yes. Which means
So if
you'll
we start here,
you'll be bringing the horse's shoulders in, like you're going to be shocked at how much you have to bring your shoulders in for a horse to do, especially a left turn. So you'll learn.
So you're saying concentrate on the horse's shoulders.
Yes, they have to be positioned slightly to the inside. Think shoulder 4 if you want to use dressage terms. You can use shoulder in if you want to use a dressage terms. The important thing is you learn this exercise will teach you how to ride your horses outside on a curve. And going to the left, most riders, their horses start falling out with their shoulders, right, Laura? The horse just
Most circles to the left, the horses throw their shoulders out. Okay.
And that's true with any style of riding. It's just because they're weaker. Most horses are weaker on their left side. So is the rider. For doing a left-handed circle, going to the right, most horses won't have as much difficulty because they're more comfortable stepping on their inside hind foot. Going to the left, it's a whole different ball game. So, to improve that, what you could do is with these circles is you could actually turn these circles into spirals, which will again teach the rider, well, a spiral is a circle inside of a circle inside of a circle.
So you're saying go this way, do the circle,
and then do a smaller circle inside of it. So they're like, 5, 10 meters into 15 meter into 20 meter. That would be dressage lingo, but that's just, so it's just having, and what it does is it teaches the rider to become aware of when their horse is whatever end, front or back end, when the horse is falling in or out. The important thing is you have to keep the shoulders of the horse in all the time that you're doing the exercise. And the reality is, at first, you won't be able to. You're going to be very shocked to realize you may have been riding your circles out of balance for a long time.
So if you have the shoulders in, though, does that not make the horse's hindquarters go out? So you're not using your hindquarters as well?
It could, but this exercise will help develop that. Most riders, when they do a curve, aren't aware of where their horses, this is what I found, and this is professionals too. They're not aware of where their shoulders, horse's shoulders are pointing in a movement. And it's really, it's like if you have a flashlight in the center of the horse's chest right here.
Okay.
Okay, that flashlight needs to always point at the next quarter of the circle.
Okay, so if they are here, they're here. Okay, so dang. Okay, so if
I love that you can do all these graphics.
Here, so they want on the next quarter, so they should be pointing the horse's shoulders
to the left.
Here and then to the left, so up here maybe.
Yes, well, every quarter of a circle. So if you divide a circle is just a square. So if you divide that circle into a square, there's going to be 4 points, right?
Yep.
Okay, now when you first start this, you'll be lucky if you can remember 4 points because it's going to happen so fast and you'll be like, hey, I can't keep my horse's shoulder where I thought it. What's happening here? As you get better, like with the people who know how to position their horses correctly for a balanced circle, they're positioning their horse's shoulders easily every 2 steps. You just don't see it because they
so it's a moving target. So here you're going to you're putting your horse to there, to there, to there.
Yes.
So let's get another color here. Oh,
and so Laura, as a judge, because you watch the courtesy circles and the curves that people are doing, in their equitation and basically the equitation of the hunter, this increases the speed of a jump around. But for the classes that are judged on their circles, what do you find is normally happening, for example, with their circles to the left? Have you noticed that a lot of them have a tendency to make it an egg shape?
Yeah, definitely. Egg shape, fried egg shape. They're falling in, falling out. What I find mostly is that riders do not have the horses onto their outside rein, actually, is the big thing. So they pop that shoulder out.
That's right. So that's what this does is it'll teach the rider how to be more effective with their outside rein and leg, which work together to bring the horse's shoulder.
So rather than saying outside rein, outside rein, outside rein, think of, okay, point your horse's shoulders to the next quarter of circle. Point your horse's shoulder. But then, the rider will do is some of them will turn on that inside rein.
That's right, because they haven't learned how to be able to turn a horse's shoulders. So you'll find if you're turning, it's a different concept. Instead of thinking of, and this is not for beginners, let me remind you, this is not for beginners. Instead of turning a horse with the reins, which is, like beginner level, you get to a point where you're like, okay, if I have to turn a horse, it's like turning, you have to be able to turn the shoulders to get the body to follow because it's like a boat, right? If you want the boat to go to a different direction, you have to point the front of the boat.
Some horses are like boats.
I know some horses are like boats. It's exactly true. So that's what it does is it isolates, it takes away from the need to pull on the reins because that's just a lower level of training or what we do in emergencies or something like that because everybody at some point is going to use more rein than all, the way they normally do. But this teaches the rider how to ride the center of the horse. If you point the shoulders in the direction that you're going instead of the head, you'll find the horse will stay under you in a better balance and your scores will improve in the classes that you're entering. Because it looks like you're riding with your seat and legs. So Laura, as a judge, you can go on as soon as they go the first time around on a flat class, you can tell who's riding in the reins. The first courtesy circle that they do when they come in to do a jump course, you can tell if they're riding from their leg or their seat, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the difference. It's not a bad thing. It's just another stage in the development of your riding position.
I like that, Reddy. I'm not sure that I've heard that before. Oh, I can hear now. There's something going on with my audio. Oh, maybe it's fixed.
Huh.
maybe.
The internet gremlin made a difference for you.
So getting back to this pattern. So that's one set of, or two poles, four poles set up in a cross, and there's one pattern that you can do. Because I don't like to get off and have to move poles, but I like to be able to do different exercises to keep the horses interested, right? So let's just go to the next one. Here's another one here. Same sort of idea, but it's all one rein. So they come, do a right rein, little circle here, go to the next one, go to the next one. It's all kind of the same rein, right?
And Laura, what you said was exactly right. You know, we show a lot of different patterns, but it's because we know as riders, as professionals in the business, that it's important to keep the rider and the horse's brain stimulated. If you're just doing a course, the same course every day, you know, like people set up their courses and they just jump it every day, right? Horses get bored. The riders may not as much as the horses, but the horses they lose their magic. You know, so
Yeah, that's true. They get, I want to say lazy or lethargic, but I like to say they lose their magic.
They zone out. They're like, okay, I'll do the pattern, just point and shoot, right? Point and shoot.
Yeah.
I'll kind of go around the pattern because I know you're just going to point and shoot. Well, that's the way we all start, though.
Well, it's like the school horses, right? They just kind of drilled, and they lose their magic.
That's right. They lose their magic. So changing the exercises and the patterns, that's where the magic is keeping it so it stimulates both the horse and the rider, and more important, well, sorry, I'm talking instructors now. For an instructor, it makes a difference for us too. Ring around the rosy, and that's when the rider just goes around and around and around in circles. It's so boring, right?
So here's a way that you can do it. I mean, maybe even these poles could be in a different spot, and you could make it easier if you have a young horse to make the circles out this way, right? Or something.
And if you're not sure about the size of your circle, use cones. You can get them at Walmart, a set of 4 of those little orange soccer cones for like $6. And you can set those up, like I get 12 at a time, and I can set a complete circle around wherever I want to do it. And what that does is it gives the rider, or you, if you're the one riding, the exact definition of what a circle is.
And what other way can you use this, Randy? We've got, we got 1 minute left. How else would you use this?
Well, I think everything that we've covered, you know, they should be able, you could use this, for example, going on the outside because it gives them more space. You could just have a rider, or you as riders could practice your transition from one to the other, like walk to the second pole, pick up the trot, go to the third pole, pick up the canter, or go back to the trot. And the trick is with transitions, here we go into another whole world. Thanks,
Yeah,
Laura.
don't open that up now, Randy. We got 1 minute left.
All right, because it should take 10 seconds to prepare for a transition. So halfway through, you should be ready to change to the next gate. So halfway to the next pole, you should be preparing your horse for the change of the next gate. You notice we're not changing the gate or the transition at the pole. The horse needs to be prepared and in balance for that transition by the time you get to the pole, and it helps to count down. Like you might be going from a trot to a walk, and you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By 1, your horse should be balanced and halted. So that's how I would use this one.
How's that?
Yes. So that's just counting. And same for upward transition. It takes 10 seconds for your aids message to get to your horse's brains. So if you're doing a transition, you want to think, okay, I've got to give my horse 10 seconds to hear my body telling them what we're going to do next, because what it does, it creates a seamless, beautiful transition, both up and down, especially the down transitions. That's where most riders lose their horse's balance. So you just start counting. You might have to start counting at 10 and not even practice on the poles and just start from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down into a balanced transition.
So I like that exercise actually, Randy. Was using the poles as markers. But I was thinking, depending on how, this distance is here, is to even just trot around the poles.
Yes. And a lot of people do that. So the imagination is unlimited on what we can do with this. But the important thing is as you're practicing this, If you just become aware of where, if your seat is anchored over your lower legs, and if you're pointing your horse's shoulders in the right direction, will make a huge difference in everything that you're doing. It's not going to be easy, but I know you would like to be able to improve your horse so it's more comfortable to ride and easier to influence, and that's a result of how you're riding it.
Okay, Randy, I think we're going to wrap it up there.
It's
10:30,
10:30,
so let's wrap it up. You got any final words for everybody?
No, just keep living your dreams in the horse world. You know, the nice thing about horses is just when you think you've accomplished something, you realize that you've just started. So you're always going to be reinventing yourself. You're always going to feel like you're starting over again. You're always going to feel like you're improving. Sometimes you won't feel that you're getting better. Sometimes you will. But it's all part of the progress that's going to make you a better rider and a person. So we'll see you on the other side of the fence.
Right. And now go use this stuff. Go hug your horse. We'll see you next time. Thanks
Bye.
now. Bye.